Hello, my friend, and welcome back to Reading with Leon. We are going to read Matthew Gubler's second book, The Little Kid with the Big Green Hand. Apparently, Matthew Gubler is now a #1 New York Times bestseller, and he says it's a story of colors, creatures, and connection. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, a little baby was born with a big green hand. Her name was Lenore, and as she got older, she constantly wondered, why must I have this big green hand? No one else at school had a big green hand, or anything green at all. Paul's hand, Sylvia's foot, Mark's ear, Benny's nose, Edith's elbow, Jake's eyebrow. Sometimes Miss Kimpton would paint her fingernails green, and Mindy and Clark had green eyes, Mindy's eye and Clark's eye. And Preston Penderpants had a birthmark on his wrist that looked like a turkey. But that is very different from having a big green hand. Luckily, it was her left hand, so she didn't really need to use it much. And thanks to her Aunt Nancy's Christmas present, handmade. She was always able to keep it hidden. Over the years, Lenore got used to brushing her hair on just one side. Did she not go over? Wearing shoes that never needed to be laced, and doing one-armed cartwheels alone on the playground. Oh, did I show you that picture? And let me show you the playground. I hope her dress didn't fall down because that would be embarrassing. She even wore it on the hottest days of summer. That tan must look pretty funny. And when anyone asked, why do you always wear a scarf on your hand? Lenore would simply say, my knuckles are cold. I don't know, your knuckles might be sweating. Oh, okay. Which was a lot better than what she imagined they might say. Every night, she would dream of all the things she would do if only she didn't have that big green hand. She would play the flute, soar across the monkey bars, and finally brush the other side of her head. But no matter how sweet her dream was, when she woke up, the big green hand was still always there. Chapter 2. That June, Lenore's dad moved the family to Michigan, to a new town with a new school, where Lenore would have to start all over again. Maybe instead of wearing a scarf, she could get a glove. The entire summer, instead of having fun playing with sparklers, water balloons, and slingshots, Lenore nervously counted down the days until her first day at her new school. Yay, this is a picture. But she's not saying yay. The night before, she was so nervous she could hardly sleep. She had nightmares of all the things her new classmates might call her when they saw that big green hand. Frog Fingers, Booger Palm, Gargoyle Girl, Witch Wrist, the little kid with the big green hand. She was so worried she woke up before sunrise. Excuse me. It was wrapping the hand even tighter than normal. And that's when she heard it. It's too tight. Chapter 3. It's too tight. It's too tight. Is Lenore ignoring it? Lenore couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from. Where do you guys think it's coming from? It wasn't coming from under the bed. Is it from in her dresser? It wasn't coming from the window. It's too tight. It was coming from under Aunt Nancy's scarf. Her hand can talk? The big green hand was talking. She unraveled the scarf the rest of the way. Did I miss something? Nope. Okay. Oh, wait. Nope, that's not. So she unraveled her scarf the rest of the way. And the big green hand said in a funny voice, "Thanks, you wrapped me too tight. It was getting hard to breathe." "You can talk?" exclaimed Lenore. "Is that what I'm doing now?" asked the big green hand. "Yes," said Lenore. "Then yes," replied the big green hand with great excitement. "Oh, great. As if it wasn't bad enough to have a big green hand, now I have a big talking hand. No one is ever going to want to be my friend." "My name is Chuck, and I'll be your friend," said the big green hand in its chipper voice. "Will you please just leave me alone forever?" Chuck got really quiet and said, "I already tried that." Hearing this, Lenore was confused. "What do you mean?" "Do you want to hear a story? Do I have a choice?" "I want to hear the story." "Nope." And Chuck cleared his throat. Aha. Chapter 4. I like him using the stars and the numbers. The Gorgeous Green Hand with the Small Pink Blob by Chuck. Once upon a time, a gorgeous green hand was born with a small pink blob. His name was Chuck, and as he got bigger, he constantly wondered, "Why must I have this small pink blob?" None of the other big hands had small pink blobs, or anything pink at all. Toey's tail, Orlok's foot, Keith's teeth, Norbert's beak, Rachel's scales, Neptune's neck. Sometimes Stephanie would paint her claws pink, and both of Norak's heads had pink eyes. And Doug had a horn that curved in the wrong direction. That is very different from having a small pink blob. At night, Chuck dreamed of being a normal green hand and being attached to a mighty ogre, doing cool things like swinging clubs and eating sheep. But instead, he was stuck doing algebra. He just couldn't understand why he was cursed with a small pink blob. And what was even worse was that he never got to see outdoors because the small pink blob always wrapped him in an itchy wool scarf that left tiny bits of lint in his mouth and made everything completely dark. So one night, while the small pink blob was fast asleep, Chuck decided to escape forever. He shimmied out of his scarf. Arg! Yes! He crawled out the bedroom window. Through the yard, past a confused wiener dog. I'd be confused too. Crossed a rickety bridge around a foggy bog. Beware of foggy bog. How did Lenore not do all this? And up a steep ravine, and no matter how far he ran, wow, Lenore is sleeping through all this. She's a hard sleeper. He just couldn't escape. Wait, Lenore interrupted. Am I the small pink blob? Chuck was unsure of how to respond. And Lenore just kept staring at him. So he decided to skip forward to the most exciting part of the story. I don't usually do much cardio. And I was tired from all the crawling, so I just sat on top of the mountain and looked down at the town as it slept in darkness. And that's when it happened. Chapter 5. What happened? I was sitting there feeling kind of sorry for myself when all of a sudden the sky changed from dark gray to a color I had never seen before. In the distance, something... Oh, sorry, I got to show you the picture. In the distance, something big and round and full of light started to rise. Because I've never been able to see past my own dark scarf, I had no idea anything like this existed. It was beautiful. You guys like sunrises and sunsets? And it gave its warmth to everyone, no matter how big or small or pink or green. It magically made the tree sing, chirp, chirp, chirp. It warmed an earthworm looking for breakfast. Thanks. It awakened the once-dark town. Howdy, good morning, hello. It tickled the top of my head, and it landed right smack dab on the small pink blob that was stuck to me. And in that warm and welcoming light, I realized you weren't a blob. You were a person. And even though we are different, that doesn't mean we don't feel the same. And that we can't be a part of each other's beautiful story. All of a sudden, everything felt better, and everything even looked better. I never realized how bright the world could be. When you remember we are all connected, the trees became electric. The leaves began to dance, and it may have been my imagination, but I even think the clouds were smiling. So I turned us around, caught us back down the steep ravine, across the foggy bog. Beware a foggy bog. Across the rickety bridge, back past the confused wiener dog, back through the yard, back in the bedroom window, and straight into bed. Where I tucked you in as snug as a bug in a rug. Good night. And we lived happily ever after. The end of Chuck's story. Lenore's crying. The little kid didn't know. What to say? Dot, dot, dot. What would you say? Still crying. She never thought about looking at the world. Through someone else's eyes. Chuck's crying too. But she figured she would give it a try. So she closed her own tight. Closer, wow. And when she opened them, trees became electric. The leaves began to dance. And it may have just been her imagination, But her big green hand looked gorgeous. So off she went to the first day of school. Dot, dot, dot. The end. She left her scarf at home. Yay. It's colors. And there's a little worm. Matthew Gray Gubler is a blob from Las Vegas, Nevada, who loves to write and illustrate books. This is his second one, and he wrote it just for you. Hope you guys enjoy it. Looks like those are both kind of about loving who you are and remember everything about you, no matter if it's weird, scary, whatever. Your true friends are not going to care. They won't. They will love you just the way you are. And have a great day. Bye.